Okay, we did 434A for the warm-up. I would like, if you are making up this assignment, for you to use the notes, and these notes can be found on the Schoology page in the purple folder, resource pages, factoring quadratic expressions. So if you open that up, you will see the steps for doing this, and I would like you for the warm-up to follow those steps as best you can and type it into the Desmos screen, the first screen for the warm-up. Okay, so the problem is 9x squared minus 12x plus 4, so you want to go ahead and set up your area model, your diamond, and try doing that for the warm-up. For the sentence stem, so for our check-in, we actually did some diamonds and just practiced using the diamond. So the diamond is just a little puzzle, and it's asking you for two numbers that multiply to give you the top and add to give you the bottom. So let's see, let's practice with this one. And there's a sentence stem. This sentence stem is something I want you to eventually internalize. These two sentence stems are very important. For the check-in, I would like you to use this sentence stem. So I'm going to write that in my notebook. And it wound up being kind of a almost impossible to type into Desmos, because Desmos, I just have the math type in there. So it didn't really work out for the check-in. So we wound up just writing it in our notebook. So to divide up the x term, so you should write this in your notebook with the diamond. I use a diamond finding two terms. Okay, so you can write that underneath the diamond problem. To divide up the x term, I use a diamond finding two terms whose product is blank and whose sum is blank. So for example, if you need more time to write that down, just pause the video. For example, on this diamond, I'm looking for two terms, two numbers that I can multiply to get -8, but when I add them, I get -7. So that would be 8 and 1, and in order for it to add up to a -7, one of them's got to be negative because I'm multiplying to get -8, so it's got to be a -8 because -8 plus 1 is -7. So I would fill that in this sentence stem to divide up the x term. I use a diamond finding two terms whose product is -8 and whose sum is -7. So if we had been in school, we would have been doing these diamonds as part of homework. And maybe it wouldn't be, quite as challenging as it is right now because you would have practiced a lot. Here's one where the product is given, one of the factors is given, and we're figuring out the sum. So we're figuring out what times what gives me a +6. And then once I get that factor, I'll be able to fill in this sum. So, well, if this factor is -2, it's asking me -2 times what is +6. So that's got to be -3. -3 times -2 is +6. So that means I'm going to add -3 and -2 for the bottom, for the sum. So if I was filling in this sentence stem for this diamond, I would say to divide up the x term, I use a diamond finding two terms whose product is 6 and whose sum is -5. Product is 6, sum is -5. And last year I made everybody memorize these sentence stems and say them out loud. I know you don't like doing it, but it's going to benefit you and you need to do it. So practice with these sentence stems. They're on the Schoology page right here. Let's see, slides for class. They're in the slides for the class. So you want to be internalizing this, because when we get to chapter 5, you really need to know what you're talking about. Okay, and then for the exit, we did, I don't know if I did the right one for the warm-up or not. I think I did the wrong one. What did I say to do for the warm-up? I don't even know. Okay, I said to do 434A for the warm-up. It was actually a different one, but that's okay. Okay, for the exit, we did 434B. Okay, so now this one is 81m squared minus 1. So we talked about this in the last class. And remember, we know that the standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c. And so if it's missing a term, we put a 0 for the term that's missing. So this is missing that x term. So I'm going to write this as 81m squared plus 0. They used m. You could use x, I guess. Let's see, minus 1. And then you just follow the same steps that you would use you do your area model, you do your diamond, you use your notes, and you use these sentence stems. You can factor the quadratic expression 81m squared plus 0m minus 1 using an area model, finding the length and the width of the rectangle. So you want to use your notes, factoring quadratic expressions, and you want to try and do this exit ticket using those notes. Something else that I've been doing, I don't know if this will be helpful, is when you're going to write your product, the length, that's one of your factors. The width, that's your other factor. So if it helps to color code that, maybe use some color, but practice, see if you can use your steps. And if you're totally lost on this process, there's videos on my YouTube channel. Let's see. So if you're lost, let me show you where to find a good video. Okay, here's one right here, factoring with the area and diamond. So if you're lost on this process, here's a video showing you how to do it.